Welcome, everybody. Let's talk about the market. We'll look at the weekly. We'll look at my trade. I don't always show all my trades. Sometimes I just, prefer just to trade and kind of keep it quiet. And otherwise, it just becomes an ego thing, and everybody just thinks I'm putting out my trades, and it's just a bunch of ego. And so I have to balance showing trades to help encourage people with showing too many trades, and people people just think I'm an egomaniac. So today I'll show a trade. I'll show my trades I made today. We'll sprinkle those in from time to time. Then we'll look at the daily chart. We'll look at the intraday chart as well. But I do want to touch on something about the server. At the end of this video, if you want to become a member, stick around to the very end as usual, and I'll show you how to become a member. But I do want to talk about this, just something else about more about the culture or the environment of the server. Okay, I'm a conservative, and I don't make any bones about it. Okay, that's what part of my, I guess you could call it my DNA, if you will, my spiritual DNA, just the way I govern my life. All right. And I've talked about this before, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but you need to understand that's the environment of the server. Okay, that's why whenever you hear me put out the promos at the very end of the video, I talk about don't put nasty postings on the Discord server. Don't say nasty things. Don't put nasty links or any of that, because then I got to kick you if it gets bad enough. I got to ban you. I always say that in every video, right? So it should be really clear that the environment is a conservative environment, right? I'm a Christian, and I don't make any bones about it. I'm not ashamed of it. I don't care what other people think about it. You don't want to join because I'm a Christian, I'm a conservative, don't join. I'm not twisting your arm. If you're already a member and you have a problem with some of the things I say, you know where the exit is. It's really that simple. I would rather have a nice, clean, peaceful environment on my server than toxic leftists coming in there and saying stuff that I'm just not going to allow on my server. Okay, I don't see a lot of it, but occasionally it tries to creep in. So if I say something like in this video that bothers you, and that's enough for you not to join the service, then don't join, because I don't care. I'm serious, I don't care. It's not just about making money, right? Yes, I charged $8, $7.99 for the service, but it's not just about making money. It really isn't. Okay, I choose to foster an environment that's conservative in nature. I want the environment to be as peaceful as it can be. I want it to be primarily focused on the things that I like to focus on, trading and some other topics that I find interesting. After all, it's my server and my service. I make the rules. That's the way it works. You don't like it, don't join. If you're already on it, you don't like it, you can leave. The refund rules are really simple. I don't give refunds. Right? You can just work out your service for the $7.99 at the end of the month, and then leave if you don't like the service. I mean, I'm not going to hand out refunds for $8. That's ridiculous, right? Because it's just, it's a waste of time to deal with people who want what are they going to do? Prorate $2 or $3 for the month if you're halfway through the month? It's just silly. So my refund policy has always been that if you join and you don't like it, that's fine. Just stay to the end of the month and then you can leave. It's that simple. That's why one of the reasons why I keep the service so cheap, so people don't feel like they're getting robbed. Okay, it's an excellent service and it's worth way more than $7.99, but that's a different story altogether. Okay, but I mentioned this because every once in a while I get somebody on the server that thinks they're cute and they try to say something, they try to do something. It's probably like the last video I criticized Obama because he's a total loser. He is. I don't care what the leftists think. I really don't. They can go, like I said in the last video, you can go pound sand. You don't like it, don't join. I mean, as if what do they call him? Oh Biden right now in the White House. All the conservatives call what's going on in the White House oh Biden, because everybody knows behind the scenes, Obama and his handlers are the ones running the show. And we've got 2 wars going on around the world. We've got a massive border invasion. Just because they don't have firearms doesn't mean it's not an invasion, right? It's still an invasion. You got people, all kinds of crimes being committed by illegals. We know we've got terrorists that come across the border. The FBI, I think it was Department of Homeland Security, which is a joke. put out a warning over the weekend, I think. Be careful, the border's a dangerous place. Really? No kidding. Seriously. I mean, what a stupid statement. As if we didn't know that already. I'm in Texas. I know it as good as anybody. Better than most. You know what really ticks me off? Is you got a guy like Adams, who's the mayor of New York, was going to come down to the border, and then when the DHS put out a warning that it's dangerous, he canceled his freaking trip. Are you kidding me? Texans are dealing with the border craziness every day, and this clown won't even visit the border because he's scared. Unbelievable. And that's why I won't tolerate the trash, the leftist trash on my server. If you're on my server as a member and you're a Democrat or leftist and you start spewing that garbage, I'm going to give you one warning. After that, you're going to get the boot. So don't even try it. And like I said, I don't care if it upsets you. It's my server, my rules. It's a great place for trading, but I won't tolerate that toxic nonsense. All right, let's get started with the video. So here on the weekly chart, you can see that's kind of the same old pattern, guys, right? We guys and gals, we got this just going north stuff. Once in a while, you get a little bit of weakness creeps in the market, and the market keeps going higher. So on the far as the weekly chart goes, still looks very bullish, right? A lot of divergence showing up, and maybe eventually it'll make good far as a pullback. But right now, nope. And I really thought that these 2 weeks over here on the SPX, they were actually sitting side by side. But of course, as the contracts changed, I mentioned this, one was above the other. I thought, wow, that's a sign of weakness. So much for that. We got this huge spike after the FOMO meeting came out. And then talking heads at the Fed pumped up the market, and BlackRock got in there and did their dance as they usually do. I also want to touch on this again. I've been touching on this. Look at this MACD on the weekly chart. Basically 207, all-time high. Again, this week. Just absolutely blistering. Blistering. You know, I had a member basically criticize today. You know, they tried to be cute about it, but they tried to criticize and say that I put out some negative stuff about the market. I'm not being negative. I just say I just put out what I believe based on factual data. This is an overinflated market. If you want to think that's negative, that's fine. But I call it like I see it. This market is overinflated. That doesn't mean you still can't make money going up. Of course. Make money. By all means, go for it. The market's bullish. Why not take advantage of this massive profit opportunity? I'm not saying don't do that. But I'm also not going to be naive and bury my head in the sand and say the market is overblown, because it is overblown. And it could stay that way for quite a while. I don't know. But I'm going to continue to call it the things I believe are showing signs of danger, not just in the stock market, because my service that I put out is not just about the stock market. It's about stock market, yes, primarily, you know, in futures and commodities, which is what I trade mostly, okay? But it's also about, in some degree, it's about world economics and world conditions, because that impacts trading, right? So I'll touch on things like earthquakes and all this other stuff that a lot of people think is not relevant, but it is relevant, at least to me it is, okay? Because I see some patterns that maybe other people don't see, okay? That's fine, whatever. But anyway, this MACD here, it's at an all-time high. And you know, at least I think as far as back as this chart goes, I think to like the early 80s or maybe like the 1990s. Okay, but I don't think I've ever seen it higher than this before in the weekly chart as far as I can remember. And I've looked at this several times going back, and this looks like this is the all-time high in the MACD. So this is like beyond nosebleed section. This is just like really, really super overinflated momentum. And I'll continue to call this out because like I said before, I think the stock market right now kind of in some degree reflects a little bit of a runaway market, right? A runaway economy, I mean. Okay, let's switch over. You know, we'll see if March 31st cycle low even happens. It may not, right? We're only 6 days away. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. The next one is over here on June 16th, which I've been tracking gold too, and gold has almost the identical cycle low on the weekly, I believe. So when we see products like that synchronized, that's usually a big deal. That's part of cycle analysis, by the way. Okay, so this to me looks like for now, we're going to keep it there. And this just may get just slammed and the market just ignore it and keep on going. All right, let's look at my trade, and then we'll look at the daily and the intraday. Okay, here's my trade. $475 of profit today. Wasn't a lot of profit, but I took advantage of there was a cycle low on the hourly chart at 2 p.m. I kind of waited on that. I got in a little bit early and was down a little bit, but I managed to get it turned around and turn it into some nice profit. Of course, I gave a little bit back here in commission, but whatever, that's just part of trading. So all in all, it was a positive day. It was a very, well, when we look at the intraday charts, we'll see it was a very choppy day intraday. Last night was pretty good. We'll look at, I'm not going to show the hourly chart because the members are paying for that. Okay. And I don't want to show that every day. I might show it once a week or whatever, just kind of as a part of a promotion. I think I showed it last week on Thursday or Friday, or I think Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. So I'll show that occasionally, but I'm not going to show it every day. But anyway, as always, for the members, make sure you pay attention to tonight's email. I will give my opinion. I have an opinion about tomorrow for the daily chart. And as always, I will rework the hourly cycles if I feel it's necessary on the hourly chart, both for the S&P 500 and gold, because I'm streaming both those products right now for the members. Okay. But anyway, this is my trade. Turned out pretty decent day. I can't complain. I'm making a little bit of money here, so we're good. We just keep moving forward. This is the daily chart, and this pattern is just, oh, so familiar, right? It's the 2 or 3 down, and, you know, I got to say we're probably going to see a bounce, right? Just pattern-wise, there are these little mini bull flags that just keep popping up over and over and over again, right? We know the pattern, right? It's up, a little pullback, stair step, up, pullback, stair step, little mini bull flags going on. In a good little run, a little bull flag up, you know. That kind of stuff, stair stepping its way up, and to me, this looks like another occurrence of that going on. So, you know, I'm cautious about the next day or two, as far as saying, hey, it's going to be down, just strictly based on the pattern, right? So I would think you'd see another bounce here, and it would just go up again, right? This would be the pattern that we just see repeating itself over and over. And if that does happen, we probably would get a new support in here somewhere, right? Somewhere in this area would probably be a support. It might just be a 2-candle support, but if this bounces like I don't want to say too much about right now whether I think it's going to bounce. The truth is, I'm not really sure. But the odds are, just if you didn't know anything else and you were just simply looking at patterns, you would say this is going to bounce. You can see here that the daily MACD just continues to rise. I mean, a while back it was tracking at 50, just like a few weeks ago, and now it's tracking in the 60s and 70s. So this is just really quite an amazing bullish run. I think I said in one of my another video, there is another YouTuber I watch the Ask Slim Team's content from time to time. And I mentioned on their YouTube channel, I said I really just think the S&P 500 is trading on hysteria. And I still believe that to some extent it is. The whole lending rate thing is a little bit of a joke. I don't think the lending rate, I'm not saying the lending rate doesn't impact corporations and their ability to borrow money. It does, but it isn't going to solve the national debt issue. I mean, if you want to talk, if the Federal Reserve believes that their mandate is to control the economics in the United States and keep inflation in check and all that stuff, well, you notice they never talk about the $35 trillion in debt. I mean, it is part of their mandate, right? They just kind of shovel it off and say, well, it's not our problem. That's a House of Representatives and the Senate have to take care of this problem. Of course, the Senate just passed, I think, a $1.2 or $3 trillion, catastrophe as usual. And the rhinos in the House were more than happy to give the Democrats all the money they ever wanted, as per usual. Wow. So much for the Republicans being conservative, right? I mean, to me, I'll just say it. The Democrats and most of the Republicans, I just view them as one big uniparty. I see no difference between those two groups. They may have different names stamped on the, a little D or an R in front of their name, but I don't think that means anything. I honestly don't believe that. Now, you might have a few among the Republicans that are truly conservative, like a very small percentage that really want to make a difference. but they're so overwhelmed by the uniparty, they got no chance. And on the Democrat side, well, they're Democrats. They're going to do what they do. And you got the extremists in the Democrats who, if it was up to them, they would choke the life right out of America and make everybody into slaves. And, we'd all be socialists and all that garbage, Nobody could own private property and on and on and on with their little utopia dream. So that's kind of my take on, the Federal Reserve. I don't think they have any real ammo, so to speak, to do anything about saving America from drowning in this huge debt issue. It's not going to go away, and it's going to continue to be a problem. Now, if some people in my membership think that's me being negative, oh well, deal with it. But I here in this service, in the videos I put out, I call it like I see it. I don't beat around the bush. I just call it like I see it. It's absurd to be passing $1 trillion budget, financing for the executive branch when all they're doing is abusing the money. It's just absurd. Okay, let's move on to the intraday chart. This is the 5-minute chart. Futures started last night here at 5 p.m. and we're almost done. Basically, I think the market's closed. It's either closed or just about to close 3:55. So basically the day is done. There was actually some decent trades overnight. And one of them was right here, kind of early in the night, last night at 7:05 my time. This was a really good trade. Here you got the purple candlestick. The market was elevated. Really nice. Maybe only about 6 points here. But still, I think you could pick up 3 or 4 points pretty confidently here, no problem. This was just a really nice indicator. Came in right on a good time. Suggested the trade, and it really turned out to be a pretty decent trade. Probably would have got out down here for about 3 points maybe. Okay, and then another one that stood out really good happened. This was the London market. This is, by the way, I do observe the London market. And I noticed 3 a.m. in the morning is a real active time for the London market. A lot of things happen right around 3 a.m. They open up at 2, but they seem to be the first hour. They're not always, but they're usually kind of reserved in their trading. They're not really going after it. But you can see, at 2 o'clock was about right here. They did trade it up. And then we got a really nice signal here at 10 after 3. Right here is the pinky purple candlestick, whatever color you want to call it. It's fine by me. And then just maybe it took about a half an hour, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes later, the market gave it up. Really good signal right here. And you would know that too, right? Because look at this signal is happening way up here. So you got to, you have to be a little patient, get through this little square rectangle area. Very typical to see it kind of not give it up right away. And eventually it gave it up. Just look at that monster. Let me get rid of the daily cycles. Look at that monster pullback all the way till like 6:50 in the morning. Realistically, about 6:20 was probably when you'd get out. Just huge. This was such a great signal. I'm telling you, sometimes, not always, but sometimes a lot of great trading happens during the London session. So this was right around 52.90, rarely easily to get to 52.90 entry too. And all the way down, guys, to 52.75. Just amazing. And it was a great, great time to trade, right? 10, 15 solid points here. I see no problem with picking up 15 points during this entire run. That was like by far the trade of the day, this massive pullback, which you can tell over here, intraday was just really just a bunch of garbage. And a lot of this has happened a lot lately. A lot of chop at intraday. London's is actually been the market that's been having some really good, fairly clean candlestick trading with lots of opportunity. I think sometimes, depending on which day we're talking about, it would be a far better trading opportunity than domestic USA, which just ends up being a chop fest. Oh, look at that nasty. Really, just once again, pretty much chopped most of the day in a 10-point range right in here, and then kind of made its way up. But do you want to be trading that mess, or do you want to be taking advantage of that? Now, I know most of us are asleep at this time, but still, I'm just letting you know that sometimes, but not always, the London market is superior to the U.S. market. And lately, I've been seeing this, frequently enough to keep me up late nights to make some bank. Okay, I didn't do it last night, but just kind of giving you a little bit of that. The volume may be low, but the price movement can be really good. Okay, now moving into intraday here, U.S. Very choppy. There was a little opportunity here about 9 a.m. and it did run up. So this happened at 8:55. There wasn't a whole lot in it though. We'll call it 82 to 86 maybe. You might have picked up 3 to 4 points here. That's it. And the rest of the day, all the way till 1 o'clock, was garbage. And then a little bounce up to the 24-hour. You'll notice this whole day stayed below the 24 hours. The 24-hour kept ascending. And when it did bounce, it met the 24-hour. It had resistance. That's what this green line is, by the way, if you don't know what this is. This is a 24-hour simple moving average. It hit this resistance and just stayed right on it. Okay, and I got in like right in this mess. I got in. I got out. I got in 1 or 2 times. And got back in, stayed in, and then took advantage of this down to here. And they made whatever you saw my trade was a few $100 today. So that was nice. It should have been more, but I made some mistakes up in this area. I had to get in and out a couple times. I got a little anxious, got in too early, and I gave up. Instead of being 400, probably should have been about 700 or 800 today. But whatever, these things happen. And then we can see here as the market gave it up all the way through intraday, right? 3 o'clock. It usually trades to about 3:15. And then this is also kind of a common occurrence. After you get these really big pullbacks, the last hour of futures will slowly like crawl its way up, doing everything they can to try to set up the London market, right? That's what they're doing here. Trying to get the London market prepped and teeing it up so they can do their trading. Yes, that's what they do. The market makers, this is what they do. They bounce between the domestic USA, Asian, and London. It just repeats itself over and over. Okay, for the members, like I said earlier, yeah, make sure you read your emails tonight, and you want to pay attention to the hourly chart. Listen, the 2 o'clock cycle low on the streaming charts, it made good today, guys. Here's 2 o'clock. And the thing you got to understand about cycle lows on the hourly chart is it going to happen an hour before, an hour after, it can happen during that hour. It's not an exact science, right? It's meant to get you in the ballpark. And then from there, as a trader, you're supposed to take over, okay? You're supposed to recognize momentum movements and changes in the market that help give you clues about. And of course, Giddens Plus indicator will try to help facilitate that as well. But the cycle lows on the hourly chart are guidelines to help you get in the ballpark of knowing when the market's going to pull back. It's not necessarily meant to be exact. Don't be too dogmatic about it. You got to give yourself some flexibility. I think one of the members asked me if it could put the cycles on the 5 and 15-minute chart. And that's why I won't do it, because the cycles, especially on the 5 and 15-minute chart, they're not going to hit an exact candlestick. That makes sense? You're not going to get like, hey, there's a 2 o'clock cycle low, so we're going to get, on the 5-minute chart, you're going to see this huge arcing line come down like this exactly at 2 o'clock, It just isn't going to make any sense, right? You're just going to see this massive arcing line cutting across the screen. It's not very effective. Like, this line is just going to be like, well, everybody's going to wonder, what is this big, huge line coming in here, right? So I don't put it on there because it's just going to confuse everybody. And it's not going to be very valuable. Now, especially on the 5-minute chart. Now, can there be cycles identified in the 15-minute chart? Yeah, it may be possible, but understand this. The tighter your cycles get, usually the less range. They kind of go hand in hand. So if I do cycles on the 15-minute chart, let's just switch over to the 15-minute chart, okay? Let's take a look at this 15-minute chart for a minute. Like, I could probably identify cycles on here, okay? Let me just try to throw some cycles on here. It might be a little difficult to do realistically because we're just kind of in this really, it's very, very choppy. But I can kind of identify some really small cycles here, okay? So I see a low here, there's a low here, there's a low here. There's a little something going on in this area. One of these would be a low, okay? Maybe we pick this one, I don't know. Okay, you got something there, you got something there, you got something there, you got something there. Everybody see that? You kind of see how you get these little bounces and pullbacks, bounces and, well, those potentially could be cycle lows, and there's another one over here, okay? Now you can tell they're not exactly equidistant, right? I mean, you could try to make something out of this, right? You could try to pull some cycles here. Like, let's say I try to go like this. And I can tell right now that, you know, I would have to do more analysis, but I could see that. Is that good? Yeah, pretty good. There's one right there. Yeah, pretty good. And there's one right there. Pretty good, right? But just look how big this thing is. I mean, it's really, really big, right? And it may not be very reliable. And to my point about range, you may not get a whole lot of range out of it. Like, okay, this was 5305. And in this case, it was pretty decent range. This was actually pretty decent, about 15 points, maybe a little more, 20. That's pretty nice, actually. Okay, so sometimes maybe you get really good range. All right, but this is pretty wide stuff. I mean, these are like really huge. These are really huge, 90 bars. So take 90 and multiply by 15. That's the total minutes that this cycle is. It's a very big cycle. Okay, and if I go back, further back, it may not actually play nice. It may or may not. Okay, you see how back here it doesn't really work out. There's no cycle low there. There is one here actually. It did come down into that, and we could go back and we could start doing simple mathematics and ratios to see which ones hit, and then count them up, and you know, and there may be some value in that, but it isn't going to be nearly as effective as the hourly, right? So for 5 and 15-minute chart, it's just better to take advantage of the oscillations. You see them? They're here. They're just, a lot of this cycle would be to some degree emulating the SMI oscillation, right? You see the oscillation here? Here to here, that's a cycle low potential right there. Well, there it is. It's just an oscillation, right? So it's better for you to take advantage of the SMI or any other decent oscillator that's going to help you deal with these really short time frames. So that's how I would handle it. Putting cycles in here is a little bit iffy because they're not going to be very consistent. And it would be, I mean, not that I'm afraid of work, but that's a lot of work to stay up with changing cycles in the 15-minute chart. It's just not going to be, the return for the value is going to be low, is really what I'm after here. So that's why I don't do it, okay? And like I said, you're going to just get this massive arcs and, you know. I mean, you could probably try to do, I don't know, for some reason this thing is giving me a hard time. You could try to do one right there, from there to there. And you'll see like it hits here, and it hits here, and it doesn't hit here at all. It hits here, doesn't hit here. It's like in the middle, hits here. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get hit and miss. You're going to get a lot of hit and miss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 5 out of 7. That's not bad for this short little time span. But if we go back, it'll start, the margin of error will start to increase, right? It'll go from a 5 to 7 ratio. Then it might become like, it might even get as bad as 4 of 8. You know, who wants to deal with 50%? Nobody. All right, so I hope that kind of explains why I don't do that, right? On the really short duration charts. All right, if you want to become a member, that's great. There is a discord.com link right below the video here on YouTube. There's some instructions in there. Make sure you read those instructions, okay? Because there might be a few things you need to do before you join. Once you're done following the instructions, click on the discord.com link. It'll bring you over to get a server. Then click on server shop. It's going to bring you here to this page right here, $7.99. again, guys and gals, everybody, this price is just, you know, a really good value, and I know that it's a really good value, but I keep this price low for several reasons. There's a lot of reasons why I keep it low. I've talked about it before, but I'm not going to dive too deep on why I keep the price so low. You know, I like helping the retail underdogs because I've kind of been there myself. I know what it is to have a small account, so that's one reason why I do it. The other reason, it just keeps things, there's other reasons why it just keeps things really simple on my end to keep the price low, okay? As you increase price, yes, you can make more money, but there's things that come with that that can be some challenges. So you have to kind of pick and choose how you're going to go about providing services for people. You have to understand the landscape. So that's the best way I'll put that without getting too deep into the details. Let's talk about what comes with this service. You get the streaming charts down here. Now, recently I added another streaming product. So we have the S&P 500 as always, and this has the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 1-hour chart, which is really nice. I put my chicken scratch in here, and a 1-hour chart are in there. And as you saw, there's a Get Us Plus indicator in there. On the 1-hour chart, I talked about the cycles that are really nice, like the 2 p.m. cycle I talked about today. That's how I made money, guys. I mean, guys, you saw it for yourself today. I talked about how I made money in the 2 p.m. hour. There was a cycle on the hourly chart. I was expecting it to happen based on the analysis, and it happened. And I took advantage of it and made a few $100. Okay, so the cycles do work. Do they work every single day, all the time, every cycle? No, they don't. But that's why you don't just trade blindly, right? There are other things you have to follow. But this is the streaming chart, so when you join, you can click on this down here and you'll get the streaming charts. Also, when you join, there's now streaming charts for gold. And I do trade gold from time to time. So if you want that link, just ask me. You can ask me in the member chat, hey, get us where's the link for the gold streaming charts, and I'll give you that one, okay? The Get Us Plus indicator that's on these charts, it'll send an alert over to this alerts channel. So that's kind of nice. If you're not watching the stream, you can still get the alerts by right-clicking on the channel and turning alerts on, okay? And then same thing with gold alerts, they're right here. Every day I put premium symbols in this channel here so you can get the premium symbols. There's some nice symbols in there. I think I saw, trying to remember what I saw in there. I saw micro crude oil in there today. So for those that trade crude oil, you might want to check that out. There's also stocks that are optionable. There's symbols in there for that, and there's some other symbols in there as well. So it's worth taking a look at this this channel to see what symbols might be worthy of trading. Okay, the Get Us Plus only post channel, and there's where I post a video link every day. So you can watch the video right in this channel if you want to, or you can click on it and go to YouTube and watch it. Either way is fine. And also I notify everybody when the nightly email goes out. I put it in this channel as well. This is a read-only channel, only I can post in there, but you can go in there and you can read what's in there and watch the video and all that other stuff, okay? Speaking of the nightly email, if you want to get in the nightly email, put your email in the emails only channel. You're going to get the daily chart of the S&P 500, which has the cycles on there, the daily cycles on there, and it has it will have support and resistance lines on there, depending on what the market's doing. And a lot of people join just for the email. You know, it's worth it for them to pay $8 a month to get an email every night. So some people do that. Some people want the streaming charts. Some people want both, and you can get both. Okay, I do trade corporate bonds from time to time. If I do, I'll put them in there. And then this is just like kind of your typical chat that's going on every day with the members. So this is everything that comes with this $7.99, guys and gals. I mean, think about this. You're getting the streaming charts for the S&P 500 in gold. You're getting the alerts for both those products. There's some other alerts here as well. You're getting premium symbols Monday through Thursday. You get the videos I put out every day, Monday through Thursday. Okay, you get the nightly email Monday through Thursday. And occasionally I'll put out Friday videos, okay? And sometimes I put out videos about solar activity and things regarding earthquakes and volcanoes and stuff like this because I'm into that. So that's another thing you can, when you subscribe, you kind of get that for free. I shouldn't say for free, but you get it as part of the membership, okay? So all that for $7.99. And I track solar activity for other reasons, guys and gals. I actually track it because it affects the world as a whole, including trading. And then let's talk about the rules. You got to read the rules. And here's the refund rules. Let me just keep it simple. There is no refunds. Okay, but that's why I charge $8. Okay, that's one of the reasons why I keep it low. Okay, because if you have a problem with the service, just finish out the month and then just quit the service. That's that simple. Right? This way I don't have to hand out refunds. Okay, I'm not going to refund like half the month for $3 or $4. It's just silly. I'm not going to do that. So there's no refund rule. It's super simple. If you try the service for a month, my recommendation, invest in yourself. Okay? I shouldn't say recommendation, but my opinion. Invest in yourself. Buy 3 months worth. It's $25 for crying out loud. It's cheap. I think if you're patient, in my opinion, you're going to make money. I mean, I don't know what it is about this service. I show from time to time, I show my trades, and I think most people see that I'm a profitable trader. And I'm using the service myself. And I know there's other members that have profited off this service. I mean, the service has got a decent membership. I'm just surprised it's not much larger. By word of mouth alone, I'm surprised this membership is in the tens of thousands. I don't get it. It's like $8. It's so cheap. It's crazy. I guess people just think it's not worth it. It's weird. But those that are in the know are making money. But in any case, the refund rules are simple. There's no refunds because the price is so cheap. Okay? So, invest in 3 months. Okay? And spend some time, get to know how to use it. Ask, when you join as a new member, just ask me, hey, Gittes, where is the video for new members? And I'll give you the link for it. It's really that simple. Okay. And that video is pretty decent. It should help point you in the right direction about a lot of the things that I use to trade. It isn't going to cover everything I know and everything that I do, but it's going to give you a good head start. Okay. It's a good video. So ask me about it. And there's also, be respectful in the server. Don't post nasty things. I already mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm a conservative. Don't come on this server posting leftist garbage. I don't want to hear it. Okay, I'm not going to tolerate it. I hate that toxic crap. I will not allow it on this server. Just be peaceful, be nice, be respectful. If you're a Democrat or leftist, keep it to yourself, or don't join the service. It's simple. There's so many other services you can join. If you want to go join your buddies at CNN and MSNBC and even Fox News now that's gone to the left, at least partially, and you want to go with that crowd, go ahead. That's like 90% of the people out there, I guess, At least that's 90% of the news anyway. If you want to do that, there's plenty of places to go do that, but not on my server, okay? So just be forewarned. It's really that simple. It's a conservative server. Okay, if that bothers you, don't join. I can't make it any plainer. All right. Everybody thinks, it's weird. Everybody thinks that money's the most important thing, and it is important. But I'm not going to compromise myself just for money. I'm not going to do it. If that means warning leftists before they join, so be it. The conservatives can join. But if you're a leftist and you come on this server and you start spewing that leftist junk, because no one's going to convince me that America is better today than it was when Trump was in office. I don't care what anybody says. And I'm not afraid to say it either. We got open massive border invasion, and we got some dingbat that can't form a sentence in the White House. So I don't care what anybody says. I really don't. So just be forewarned, okay? I'm not saying if you're a Democrat you can't join. Just understand the environment you're joining, okay? It's peaceful. I don't tolerate the nonsense from the left. If you start spewing it, you're going to get kicked. If it gets bad enough, you're going to get banned. And remember, the refund rule is you don't get a refund. So just work the month out and be on your way. All right, so that's the refund rule. And that's the be nice to everybody else rules and be respectful in the server and know the server is a conservative server, right? You know that coming in because I'm telling you that. So don't expect anything else. And then lastly, there's a disclaimer in there that I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice, okay? Everything on this server, no matter who says it, no matter what anybody says, me or anybody else, is strictly educational purposes only. Okay, no financial advice is implied whatsoever. That's really important you understand that. Yes, I honestly believe, in my opinion, this service is going to help you if you're patient to make money over time, okay? But you're responsible for your own trades, okay? No one but you can do that, okay? All right, I hope everybody enjoyed the video. I know the market was choppy today. There was some opportunity late in the day, some opportunity late last night. I think there's going to continue to be opportunities. I'm going to take advantage of it. I hope you do as well. All right. Happy trading, everybody. God bless everybody. Talk to you all real soon again next time.